Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? And welcome back to the StarLadder Pro Series here on Twitch. My name is Blue. I'm going to be your host for this match as well here. As we'll be getting started now with this second and final matchup for today between neXtPlease and Revival. Jumping into things here. We'll see how it goes. Again, unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to cast either of these teams either, nor is there a whole lot of info out in the open about these guys, so I'm basically going to be jumping into this blind. Can't provide a whole lot of intel to you in terms of the pregame, just talking about who could potentially win this matchup and whatnot, because personally I've never seen any of these players play before, so it's going to be a first-time experience here for me. But the maps have been settled, and we are in the knife round here. The first one, of course, being right here on Cobblestone to start things off, and it's going to be neXtPlease that will win out the knife round here, with Cosmin being the last player left alive at the end of it. Bit of a brutal slaughter, but he's the champion, and we'll be going back to the castle to become the king now. So, it's going to be the first map played over here on Cobblestone, and I believe that this was the pick from Next as well. So they're not only going to get their choice of map, but their choice of side to start things off. Really good way to get things going. Our second map, by the way, as we jump onto that one, is going to be over on Mirage, and then the third map, if we do need to play it out, will be back on Inferno, so it should be a good matchup. Hope you guys are ready to go, ready to enjoy it, and we'll be going live right now, folks. So here we go. Let's get directly into things. And let's see who is going to come out on top of this best-of-3 matchup. Winner of this is going to be moving on, I believe, into the semifinals. We already have 3 teams there now with our previous matchups champion going to that. That makes 3 out of 4 spots have been settled, and this is going to be the 4th and final one. I believe the semis are going to be played out tomorrow, then the finals on Sunday. I might be wrong on that one, though. I'll get a confirmation at the end of the set, so if you want that information for yourself, you can actually find it on Star Series website, but I don't know if it's in English, so yeah. Anyway, we're going into this one now. Real Crown's going to find the opening 2 picks here as they work their way into the site. CT's unfortunately holding very strong here. And with that said, that's actually going to be a very swift end to the pistol. Not a whole lot of progress being made by Revival, unfortunately. neXtPlease basically shutting it down right from the beginning of it. And they just, again, they basically shut it down as soon as it works its way out from the broken wall. Not a whole lot of progress made by Revival at all, and a really good showstopper performance here to start things off. And a big investment, 2 P90s, a Mag 7 on boco, and then you look over here, 2 rifles being brought into the picture. Real Kron going to be buying a FAMAS, and then you also are going to be seeing BTN over here picking up the also longer ranged M4A4 buy up here too, and there goes that P90. Already 3 out of 5 kills being claimed. There's number 4, and there's number 5. Very swift round number 2. Revival trying to pull off the same thing. This time trying to be a little bit more innovative by working things inside of the drop room, but that doesn't work very well either, as those P90s along that Mag 7, although it doesn't claim any kills, I do believe. The P90s are still going to do enough work in themselves, and that basically shuts down that attempt there from Revival. That was the 4-step attempt too, so they spent money on that round. They basically spent money to walk in a drop and walk out of Broken Wall and die. That was quite a waste. They're going to want to get a refund for that. So now for Revival here, they're going to be on the save round here, going into this round as well. So we're not going to be looking for too much. They do try to go for this sort of waterfall method to work their way out of drop, and there is 1 flash in play. It works out great, but again, the kills are not necessarily in the perfect position. They get a 2-for-1 to start it off, and then immediately we see neXtPlease just getting back control of things as well. The 1 kill that they did get is going to be dispatched over here as well. That's going to be FANAT ROCKA that gets dispatched here by Cosmin as they work their way back into drop. So they retake control of it there. They're going to take it back, and there we have it now. neXtPlease starts it off very well. You can definitely tell that they're very comfortable on this map already, just by how much of a shutdown these first 3 rounds have been. And now it's Revival's turn to really start something going here on round number 4. Now they got the big guns in their hands. Now they've got utility sitting behind these guns as well, so it's time to use it. It's time to slow things down a little bit maybe here as well, just because you look at, again, how neXtPlease have been holding this, and they've been trying to play this super aggressively, but neXtPlease have been ready for this in almost every single turn, so Revival just might want to take it a little bit slower, try to force the rotations a little bit more, and hopefully catch these guys out, because right now it's been just, you know, gung-ho, let's just waltz into these sites, hopefully get control of it, and that obviously just hasn't been panning out at all for the members of this Russian team at this point, so they're going to have to slow it down just a little bit here if they want to try to make some progress, and that's exactly what they've done by a pretty big margin here as well when you take a look at them. And looks like somebody disconnected from the game. I don't know who that was, but I'm guessing it was an admin. But somebody ends up dropping from the game, although I don't see him. I don't know if maybe it was a coach. I don't even know if these servers have coaching slots, but anyway, the take's going to start now. The timer gets a little bit lower there. Balblna I apologize by the way if I'm saying these names wrong. He's gonna get the kill, but unfortunately that Molly's gonna hold It's-My sort of into the corner, so he's gonna get eliminated there too. Finds another one, and then Realkron also taking down another one of these players. It's a good start for Revival, but just falls by the wayside so quickly. And then just after that now, Revival, they've got nothing left to do. 30 seconds left. They're trying to go for this big rotation back over here towards the A site, but they see it coming from a mile away. Realkron even gets this nade going into here. Undo, he's gonna move himself in here to pick up one kill. Finds a second on a Realkron as well after he picks off his teammate, but now Cosmin gets himself into here. He's gonna be able to find that extra frag going on to Undo, and there we go. 4-0 now for the members of neXtPlease. And for some of these guys, boco granted gonna have to go for this rebuy here, but already loaded up on cash. When we take a look at him, he was sitting at 9K, spends a lot of it now to get the op back in play, but this is the first time he's gone for this investment because he's been sitting on this rifle for so long that, to be completely honest, he just hasn't had to go for his own reinvestment on it either. So Revival, again, now gonna have to go into an eco here. They slow it down, obviously. You'll remember harking back to these first ecos that they worked for here too. They're gonna have to go just, you know, they were just running into the site for the most part here. Now they're taking it a lot slower, and hopefully they can make some progress. But they've made a lot of noise, and now they've got to kick it into full drive here to work their way in. neXtPlease, again, have spotted this coming from a very, very quick, long while. There's balblna, finds the first one. Boco does get a response there with his rifle, and they've got Cosmin as well. Actually makes a mistake there, so we're going to see FANAT and dOBRIY picking up those 2 kills over there. They find them, and now there's another one as well from dOBRIY. He finds an additional kill. Realkron finds one with the nade, but now he's the last player alive with only 37 HP, and he's also allowed FANAT ROCKA to pick up an M4 to work with here as well, so it's not looking the best for the guys on Next right now, and Revival might have just forced their way in to pick up an eco round here. Next, working their way back into the site. Realkron's going to try to clutch this out, but doesn't pan out very well there. That's going to be FANAT ROCKA that closes it out, and the rifle is going to do that job there. They scavenge that for free. Even one more being picked up here by dOBRIY as well. So a great round for the players on Revival. They pull off the eco. They lose a lot of their players on the way in, but they get 2 rifles at the end of it. Those guys are not really going to have to spend all that much money coming into this round. And for those that do, of course, we're even going to see an op coming into play now on FANAT ROCKA. So these guys are going to be in a really good position. neXtPlease, of course, with how clean the first 4 rounds had gone for themselves there, with the exception of round number 4, they are still going to be able to afford another rebuy. A pretty decent one here too. But after this, they'll be dropped onto the eco very, very quickly indeed. They're going to attempt to do this boost back over here, but I don't actually think they know how to do it correctly. So they're either going to choose to destack it, or they failed miserably. But now we see It's-My getting himself over here onto the broken wall platform. He puts himself over there, takes down KunKKa. And now we see boco coming back out to find the trade. So that's going to be able to eliminate him. And the rest of the Revival sitting back for the time being. No one else was out here. Nobody else pressuring it as of yet. And boco is going to be able to spot this now to make sure that nobody else decides to push into this for the time being. You've also got Cosmin just putting himself just outside of the mid connector here too, to make sure that nobody else is coming in from here. If he decides to get aggressive, you'll note that absolutely nobody from Revival is here to stop this, but he's actually pretty far away rotationally speaking, so if a drop push or even just the broken wall push succeeds for these guys over here on the side of Revival, then they're going to need his help, and he's a pretty long way away. So now as we see these peaks coming back out, boco finds one more kill, but the job has been done for the most part. Realkron really should not be peeking this right now because he's alone. He's got the rotation. He's just now arriving, but even as they try to work their way into drop, there's FANAT ROCKA, who previously hadn't even fired this op as of yet. Now he gets to do some work with it, shuts it down, picks up one more kill, and Cosmin's going to be the last one alive here. So Revival, after definitely a bit of a bumpy start, really get themselves into this game swinging now, and they're actually going to be able to pick up 2 rounds in a row very swiftly, and very quick control being maintained here too. A little bit of a rotationary mistake there too. Keeps those players from neXtPlease off the site for an additional amount of time so they can initially go for that retake. They did a great job of getting the damage, but the 1v1s just were not going the way that they needed them to here. As you take a look at it, take a look at the health pools there. As these players are sort of running out of the site, balblna sitting down at 45, and dOBRIY as well just barely makes it out of this round. He's only got 6 HP, so these guys just teetering on the edge, but neXtPlease failing there, and again, that B site just proving a little bit harder to hold. They had those 2 guys that didn't initially die on that take finally from Revival. They were extremely out in the open, and unfortunately just weren't able to hold things off. And give me 1 second, folks. Apologies. There's a fax machine in my room. I don't know who calls it. No one should be calling it because we don't use a fax machine, but for some reason people keep calling the fax machine. So I just had to hang it up real quick. Anyway, going into this round, we're going to see neXtPlease once again. Being on an eco, balblna picks up the first kill, finds a second too, just basically dominating the drop area at this point in time. Taking down BTN. And now leaving not a whole lot of defense left here for the members of neXtPlease here. Boco is still the only player with a rifle in play, but he's sitting at 21 HP, so it's going to be an easy frag now for the members of Revival to grab. And now we're going to see here too, It's-My and balblna going to be the final 2 left up and running. And Real Kron hasn't actually spotted him just as of yet, so as balblna walks out, he almost actually loses his own life here. He's up to 3 kills. Once they get the 4th, let's get a little bit of a prowess around getting out here, and he's going to grab that as he takes him down. So a big pickup by him. Of course, though, being on an eco from neXtPlease, it's not that impressive, but still pretty good. And now neXtPlease about to lose their lead here, so they're thankfully going to be able to get one more buyout going for themselves here before they actually completely lose it and have to go back to square one, essentially. So we're going to see these guys now up still by 1 point, but this is going to be that last real chance to try and stop this offensive, otherwise Revival again. And that's the thing about Revival too, is to be completely honest, they haven't been doing anything super crazy. It's just been controlling the hot zones on this map here for the T's to take. Moving out, they almost always get control back over here in the position itzmy's in. There we go again. Nobody's actually on the site itself. They're all held back either behind that smoke or sitting behind the big wall. They're just trying to keep themselves alive and well. Drop is into their area that they've been very good at getting control of here too, and now that FANAT ROCKA comes in, he finds the shot into boco. There goes the rotation. That's going to be another player that can't come in to support, and just like that, you only have 2 players, one to defend drop and another one to defend broken wall, so it's going to be very, very light on the defense here. KunKKa going to try to hold things out from drop. Thankfully, he's got a good spot, is that Molly's not actually going to plume, so he knows that this drop play isn't actually going to happen just as of yet, but now all the pressure shifts over here to Real Kron, because the play is going to be coming up there for mid-connector in about 5 seconds, and he's going to see all this rolling onto the site, hiding very much so in the back. There's BTN, then he catches out the lurker. dOBRIY's going to fall. Now they should know, but again, as I said before, all this pressure sitting on Real Kron. Takes some heat, but finds the kill anyway. Undo, in the meantime, picked up a kill on a KunKKa as he tried to rotate in, but there's itzmy, lying it up, takes down Real Kron, finds him out, takes back some of that heat as he's taken down to 12 HP, but it's been handled at this point, and now, as BTN rolls right up, he's going to be spotted by Undo there, who was watching for a player to come in that exact position, will dispatch of him, and Revival are going to tie things up now at 4 points. Unfortunately for neXtPlease, again, the money's not really in too good of a spot to where they would be able to buy and stop this kind of lead gain from happening on the side of Revival, and they are going to have to let the T's basically have a free round here for the most part. Actually, they'll go for the upgraded pistol buy here too, with armor sitting behind it, so they do make a last-minute decision to try to get something out here, because another important factor here, just like we had happening here within the first 3 rounds or so, neXtPlease were sitting on quite a large stack of cash, and now it's going to shift to the opposite direction here, where it's starting to happen for the T's. So going for a buy like this, really just try to keep the money down and to try to resist anything that they can do against the money gain here from the side of Revival, but not working out so well. They do pick up these 2 kills now, however, to even things out into a 3-on-3 trade, but no extra upgrades being recovered at this point in time by the members of neXtPlease. So, although they're finding kills, they're not getting any additional gun upgrades, so working against the members of Revival is still going to be a very hard goal to accomplish. balblna finds one. Real Kron gets the Hondig, though. He's going to be able to take down balblna, and now we're going to see this into a 2-on-2, which is actually somewhat palatable for neXtPlease here, now that Real Kron has gotten himself armed up with an AK, and he's already here on the balcony too, but there's FANAT ROCKA, just walks right up, takes him down. KunKKa finds one, almost gets the second, but FANAT ROCKA is going to be able to thankfully handle that by switching over to the pistol. KunKKa not able to adjust his aim fast enough to that situation, and we will see him finishing things off for Revival. But indeed, it's going to be a costly round there. It's exactly what neXtPlease wanted to work for, and they're still going to be able to get their buy coming into this 10th round as well. So, no harm done in the long run of things. It is going to possibly disable the potentiality to go for an out buy, but when you look at neXtPlease, they've got all the utility and whatnot that they could use, so again, it makes up for itself, because now you look at the money, it hasn't really grown at all from the previous round, with maybe 1 to 2 exceptions coming out there. They still end up winning out the round, but they dispatch quite a few of the players from Revival, and has forced quite a lot of rebuys going into this one. And there's going to be Cosmin playing up behind the tree. And just to catch itzmy, who previously, when they've gone for these default takes back over here through a broken wall, itzmy has been doing an absolutely fantastic job of controlling that platform area, but now he's finally been denied of it, and this is going to be a little bit of a holdup on the side of Revival. The take from drop as well was another key component to what allowed the members of Revival so much success on this B site, and if this one goes badly, then this could be their round being dropped. He moves through the smoke here, but KunKKa can't find that headshot. And now the members of Revival, they know there's a player down here for sure. They just have to find his location. He's been pressured. He gets completely pop flashed, but again, holding a safe corner. And Revival just don't really want to seem to push into that angle, because now they move the bomb back. And then again, going for the switcheroo play to move this over towards the A side instead. Look at Undo, though, just flanks right in. boco thinks he's safe, but that is not the case at all. He's going to be an easy target for them to pick back off. Real Kron finding this one over here as he takes down Undo. And now the take is going to be on over here onto the A site. The rotation's coming in, but a little bit slow. dOBRIY, though, although he does find a kill, gets in the way of his teammate's spray, and unfortunately is going to take some hits because of this one. Now trying to cross back over to get himself behind the APC and closer to the site. He's going to take some more of it, and Cosmin comes in to finish it off. KunKKa finds it alone, but FANAT ROCKA pins Cosmin to the wall there as he works his way into the site. Now alone in this 1 versus 2, comes in, finds a one-shot with a Tech 9, and another one to shut down Real Kron. A huge clutch from FANAT ROCKA, and Revival keep that lead going strong, just as neXtPlease we're about to swing it back in their favor. So that's a big pickup once again there now, and this is going to really solidify the lead. And we could see, too, who the stars so far on this team has been just by looking at the excess money on some of those guys. FANAT ROCKA, look at the money. He's got 11.9k sitting onto him. 2 of those Tech 9 shots, just 1 shot's there to come in and finish it off. Another one happening mid-air, so he closes that off. And neXtPlease, unfortunately, they're going to be behind once again here now. They go for the force up here. We can see not a lot of utility. In fact, very little at all here. From what they had, it's already been used for the most part here to smoke off the broken wall and drop areas because of the fact that Revival has been playing towards it so much. But they get the 3 M4s into play. 2 FAMASs on a boco and BTN as well. So they're going to try to work something with this, but again, in terms of the utility and whatnot, it's not being held off. There's BTN, lines up a nice angle against balblna, but it'smy gets the response, going for control of this area. FANAT ROCKA going to sit back and look for any sort of flank that these players will be working towards, but it's not even happening. They're just using a default hold here, and it's not going so well. it'smy just ripping them apart, already up to 3 kills, looking for a 4th here, but finally RealCron going to get the response to take him down. That doesn't even matter, though, as dOBRIY and Undo immediately after this one take the final 2 players down, and Revival are now going to get themselves up to 7 points. These rounds happening so quickly, but neXtPlease just can't seem to defend that B site at all. The A site defense going a little bit better, but to be honest, Revival realize just how weak that B site play has been, so they constantly go in and take it here. They keep it a little bit varied just so as not to obviously force neXtPlease into a situation where they can constantly force stack the site, but still, the initial holds have just not been where they've needed to be on quite a few of these rounds, and it's going to limit the potentiality on neXtPlease by a very big way. So now we're going to see these guys, they're back down, they're onto another eco for themselves, excuse me. Not a whole lot of support coming up behind this CT buy as well here when we look at the utility and whatnot. They did bring in a lot more than it appears they have now, but some of it's been used, such as this smoke right here in front of us now, over in the drop area. They're using this to hold back the initial push, and as well, so they can try to gauge exactly what's going on. But BTN actually makes a nice push there, being supported by a teammate. He gets himself boosted up on top of the platform. And he's going to be able to catch the headshot over here on the it'smy to show him down. balblna, though, looking for the response. That pop flash is perfect, but it comes back onto the T's as well. So they're going to have to be a little bit more careful of this. And FANAT ROCKA now coming into the picture here, too. That's going to be a dangerous combination. Undo might not even need the support of FANAT ROCKA, as Undo just goes absolutely crazy. Picks up the 3 kills on the site. No resistance at all coming in there from the members of neXtPlease. And now it's just boco. Armed up with the deagle, so might be able to do something about this, but realistically speaking, probably not looking so good, as dOBRIY's going to push into him in just a second, unless he gets the Huan Dig, which he does. Gonna make the situation a little bit more futile, but he picks that up. Actually doesn't move in to pick up the AKs. He knows there's more on the way. Gonna try to find that kill on Undo, but Undo will indeed finish things off there. Picks up the 4K, closes things out, and there we have it now. Undo is gonna close things out with a 4K there. He gets quite a bit of money now in excess as well. And for neXtPlease, they'll get this buy. They'll get the double op set up on the CT side. And now they're going to have a little bit more work to do here, too, on the side of Revival to try to get through those. But it's going to be all about positioning here, too, because neXtPlease, like we said before, not only have they sort of failed to hold things, but they've found their players out of position quite a bit, and the rotations have been extraordinarily slow coming in from the A site. Here's boco, though. Gets himself the first good shot as he gets aggressive. Missing that second one, but he's able to treat into the suicide stairway. There's a player coming up behind him, though, so balblna's going to be able to execute him, as Undo also found that earlier frag, too, happening here. So now we're going to see the members of neXtPlease. They rotate in. There's a firestorm rolling its way back over there to balcony, though, as a combination of like 2 nades and a molly trying to get themselves in there to block that area off. They just take down the player through normal fire anyway, but as we can see here, balblna along with Undo have taken some hits, but it's a 4-on-2. And I don't really believe that neXtPlease have a really good idea as to how much damage has been done, so they're not even going to attempt this retake. They've already fallen back. They're looking to go for the save at this point. BTN sitting himself just over here on top of the broken wall platform, and neXtPlease's Cosmin is sort of investigating as to what's going on in the castle itself, so he's got to sit back a little bit. And for the guys over here on neXtPlease, they're just going to be, you know, looking to keep these rifles in play, as that's been another thing too. They've actually been a lot better than it would appear at managing the economy. It's just been unfortunate that, again, the gun rounds, for the most part, have been going by the way of Revival because the sight holds have been so weak, and the entries from Revival have been so strong. But there's going to be BTN finding at least one more frag here on the balblna. Won't dare to peek out against that, though, to take on another one of these players that would have been Undo in that case, as you do not want to lose a big gun like that. And we did have a player disconnect from the side of neXtPlease, so we're going to get him back in just a second. Assuming just as probably a small routing issue or VAC authentication error or something like that. Let's see. How did he disconnect? Didn't actually show me. So I don't know how he disconnected, but he dropped for some reason. So I'm assuming it was just a small internet issue, which we can fix pretty quickly, and then we'll get him back in. But just to sort of review here what the biggest issues have been for neXtPlease, it's like we said before, the site holds are just especially on B, the side holds are just not looking so good right now. We constantly find Revival getting these opening picks, whether it's in drop or coming out from the broken wall. There's not a very proactive attempt here to get aggressive on the side of neXtPlease either. They're, for the most part, just playing to fairly default and preserve positions, waiting for Revival to move into them in hopes that they can take them out, just in the fact that they're holding stable and they're going to have an easier time finding the aim, but that's definitely not the case. And we've seen this started to evolve a little bit on the neXtPlease side. There's been a couple attempts now to get aggressive on that broken wall and find some response frags to drop these players down, and it's been successful, but for the most part, it's kind of fallen by the wayside as well once these guys have actually managed to figure out the positions of these CTs and then re-execute them. And they usually get +1 because you see neXtPlease usually having to boost somebody up on a broken wall, or again, they use the boost there, so they'll not only take that player down, but they also can move in and find the player that was assisting him previously too. So things such as this just pad into Revival time and time again, coming out on top of these situations and having the man advantage so heavily towards the end of the round that we see a lot of what just happened previously, where the members of neXtPlease, they just have to end up calling for a save because there's not all that much that they can end up doing. So we're getting back into this game now though, guys. Revival though having a very heavy advantage here on T-side Cobblestone. This is the pick from neXtPlease, if I do remember correctly, and they got the side choice as well, so not the greatest start for these guys with all things considered. This, again, if we kind of continue on this path that we're moving on right now, it's going to be a lot of work, but BTN getting the shot through the legs of the statue there, just as he has helped out with a boost. So they're going to start to move in on the T side, though. Cosmi holds it strong for now, but balblna getting another response here. KunKKa finding one for the CT side, too, but FANAT ROCKA coming back in here, finding the op shot. BTN looking for the response here, but he's got to be careful because he's kind of trapped, moves out, can see the barrel, finds the peak, takes him down, and now gets himself safely behind cover. So finally, the initial hold was good enough from the side of neXtPlease to where they can hold things off, but they actually, look at this, they don't realize that dOBRIY is sitting in chicken coop right now. Nobody's checking it. He spotted BTN. It's not the same for the reverse situation. He's trying to think to himself right now, do I peek out against this, or is somebody waiting for me at the fountain? Because if he got spotted, then no, look, he's lining up this shot. The spray's messy, though, so it's going to give his teammate time to line up his shot, and BTN, thankfully, is going to be able to correct that, but that could have been a great lineup. If the spray had been a little bit faster and he found that kill quicker, then he might have been able to adjust fast enough to catch BTN before he even realized what was going on, but thankfully, that doesn't happen, and neXtPlease, at the very least, are going to pick up this round here now. So they find a 5th point here. Revival still very much so at a point where they've got what they need on this T side. Here on Cobblestone, normally can expect like 9-6, 10-5 for the Ts here, at least in European games, so this is definitely fairly normal as far as T side is concerned. They've struck back, and neXtPlease, I mean, they've fallen by the wayside. They should have had a lot more points in this, as they had a great lead going, but it just completely fell apart here as we got later into the half. Undo, however, in this round specifically, is going to find the opening pick. BTN getting a response, though, as again, these guys from Revival, they get a little bit over-aggressive back over on that broken wall area, trying to directly peek the op without a flash or anything. Doesn't really pan out so well. balblna, though, it's extremely aggressive back over here by the drop zone, and although he is going to find a kill, he does get dropped down pretty low to 9 HP because of that, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. dOBRIY still looking for this trade onto BTN from earlier too, just to kind of try and keep these players in the sight, and it's working out great, because now Revival, they've been given all this time to rotate inside of mid-con. neXtPlease is just now figuring out what is happening, and thankfully do this early enough, because again, Revival, they've lined up the take, but they haven't actually executed upon it just as of yet. They're still sitting back for the most part, and waiting for this actual play to happen back over here. So we can see RealCron, he's back on the A site now. He's waiting for this push to happen. 40 seconds left. They've got to spread their wings here too, because they actually don't know what happened to dOBRIY, so he could be opening up a flank, and if they can take him down, that could solidify most of their doubts as whether this is going to be an A take. But now RealCron, he's going to know this. Pop Flash comes back out. We'll see if he can hold things on the site itself, but unfortunately, he's going to be dispatched by Undo. Cosmin, though, having a better luck, does take down balblna as he gets himself onto the balcony, but now BTN's rotating in. They still have not handled dOBRIY, so as they work their way in, FANAT ROCKA is going to take down Cosmin, and Undo eliminates BTN. They don't even need that lurker either. dOBRIY was coming in, but he does not even need it. The two on site handle it perfectly, and that'll be a 10-5 T-side at half now for the members of Revival, taking a very big advantage indeed. And now, honestly, can take it easy on that CT side. If they pick up the pistol, it's not really going to be a whole lot of work that they have to do to win out the map in itself. And just overall, an absolutely stellar play from these guys, specifically FANAT ROCKA, constantly impacting with that op. That huge clutch from him that we already saw too, shutting things down. And then we look at the frags, Undo and balblna, also very, very consistent with their rifling power here to come out on top of the fragging power for the team. BTN, that opper, a little bit of an anchor, very small amount, but a little bit of an anchor here when you look at the members of neXtPlease too. Constantly we're relying on him and his opping power to pick up quite a few of these additional frags and hold back the pushes that were coming out from Revival. So things like that are going to have to be changed up here, and hopefully the fragging power on the T side is going to have a little bit more confidence behind it now as neXtPlease jumps onto the T side. But BTN, he's going to find the opening pick here as they work their way in through mid-con. That will act as an early alarm, but now probably going to be down a man. dOBRIY finds the correction kill, though. Takes out BTN. Undo finding another one. They're cutting them down as they try to get themselves onto the site. KunKKa finding 1 and 2 here, but there's dOBRIY, and IT'smy finding 2 more as well. So it puts all the pressure into the hands of KunKKa, trying to clutch this 1 versus 2. Multiple angles he's working against, and no gun upgrade. So it'll just be IT'smy closing it out with a long-range headshot there to take him down. And Revival, although it gets a little bit dodgy there at the beginning, they handled the situation great and are able to pick up the pistol round here on the second half to put them up to 11-5. So now off of the hinges of this, of course, balblna's not even going to invest in anything else just as of yet. So he's going to be sitting on the dualies. NEXTPlease just go for the Tech 9 armor buy up here. The rest of the team, of course, have gone for the usual upgrades. You've got actually only 1 rifle in play, so fairly heavy on the SMGs as they're going to be looking and... Uh-oh. That might be bad for FANAT ROCKA. Okay, I thought you disconnected, but that's not the case. They've actually gone pretty heavily on the SMGs, and they're going to need to do some work with it here, too, sitting inside. But it's going to be RealCron that rolls his way, and he finds 2. IT'smy, though, back over there on Broken Wall, finds 2 more. balblna finds a 3rd, but Cosmin doing some work now with this scavenged FAMAS is able to pick up 2 more kills right after this. So it's a 2-on-2 situation. FANAT ROCKA works his way inside, but quickly jumping outside, puts the HE grenade in, thinking he's done some damage to KunKKa, but this is not the case. And while all this is happening, Cosmin opening up the big flank, takes out FANAT ROCKA. Now you've only got 1 player left, but they're switching weapons. It's going to be a bit of a mistake. Thankfully, KunKKa able to handle that with style, and we'll immediately see the eco upset coming out there from NEXTPlease. Revival, honestly, I don't know if they invested enough there. We saw those SMGs, but they just weren't able to do all that much damage against those Tech 9s, and that FAMAS instantly dropped as it was stuck inside, ironically enough, of drop, and it got handled over to the members of NEXTPlease, so they were able to use that one. The player that did pick it up immediately found 2 kills with it, and that was probably the biggest mistake of the round, was putting that one so close to their opponent. So they gave them a really, really big, powerful gun, and they were able to put that to use almost immediately after picking it up. So NEXTPlease now, they're actually going to run into pretty much everybody here from Revival. Thankfully, BTN and Cosmin are able to handle that great, finding a combined 4 kills, completely eliminating the defense. They did find a Hwandig there from the side of Revival to try to stop them initially, and some good damage was done to BTN, but this final player here, IT'smy, gonna have to look for some shots, not gonna find it, and BTN slow and steady with the UMP, finally locks on a headshot, takes out IT'smy, and there we'll have them picking up a second consistent round, and now Revival will have to segue this into a save round, unfortunately, so that they can afford their rifles going into the next one here. They could afford that pistol armor buy, because now they've basically been reset, and they've got to start from square one for the most part here. 3K on these players, so even if they drop this one, which is highly likely considering the guns they've run into this, they're still going to be able to go for the rifle buy-ups heading into round number 20, and we'll still have a pretty good cushion against the members of NEXTPlease here, as they've got a little bit more work to do before they can come back. So in they go. BTN finds the opening kill, looking for another one here sitting around the corner, lights up FANAT ROCKA like a candle, and now to finish him off, to blow him out. There we go. boco is going to take him down. Cosmin found one, as did boco, and now it's just balblna sitting back over here outside of the site, and that's an easy kill for BTN to grab. So a nice swift cleanup there for the members of NEXTPlease after they upset there on the second round, and now they've got a decent amount of cash stacked up here too. Cosmin and RealCron specifically sitting on 7.2k and about 3.3k after the buy, looking at RealCron. But Revival also getting the guns into their hands. Big investment on their part, of course, as we would generally expect from the CTs now on the losing end of this, but if they can pull it off, they're still going to be able to maintain that lead, as they still have a 3-round cushion here. They're going to get 2 more gun rounds before we actually see NEXTPlease actually tying things up against them and taking the lead back to potentially upset on this map after having such a good start on their own T side. So dOBRIY specifically here, trying to challenge things, going back over towards drop, but not really going to pan out so well. The CT's also tossing some nades back over here, try and counter these guys out. There was a nade that was tossed back inside of the drop room from the T's too on the side of NEXTPlease, and you can see it's done a little bit of damage. That's going to be dOBRIY and balblna. That'll lose a combined total of about 50 HP between the two of them there. A little bit more than that. Maybe about 60 or 70 to be honest with you. So a decent amount of damage is done with that HE grenade considering what it could have impacted. So it brings about a quarter of health off balblna and almost half of dOBRIY's HP. So pretty good on this part, but NEXTPlease still, because of the resistance they initially met here instead of drop, they are not very confident, I don't believe, in actually going for this take. So you can see on the minimap that they've fallen back. They've shifted this very much so over towards an A take right now, but Revival have no clue this is happening. The silence on the site is going to be enough of a tell here, along with relying on the tells from FANAT ROCKA. And thankfully, this is FANAT ROCKA here to hold things, but he's pretty overexposed, and that mid push is going to come in. But he's seen this now, so he's calling for it. Look at the minimap on the CTs. They're all coming into this site, and FANAT ROCKA, very team-oriented, not taking any risks about this at all. Sits back, waits for the push to come outside of the alley, and he's going to be rewarded with a frag. Now more teammates are here to help out with this one. Jumping up on top, balblna gets some frags. He's going to find 2. BTN did pick up 1. one over here on dOBRIY, and unfortunately for FANAT ROCKA, he is going to get flanked out by boco, but the teammates are there. balblna finds another one. boco is still in this, though. He's picked up another kill over here, but the time has run so low that it's just going to run out, and not even this as well, but we're just look at the money here now. For boco, he's going to end up getting dropped, so no cash reward for him at the end of the day. Thankfully, he had 4.4k in excess, but still compared to the rest of his teammates, definitely going to be a little bit lower. But with that money he still has saved up, he's still going to be looking fairly good here. Revival indeed, they do pick up the round, and that's a good tell. But they're not safe as of yet here to prevent that comeback from happening. They still need to win at least one more round to force neXtPlease onto an eco. At that point, they'll be able to sort of run away with some more of the rounds, and Revival will be able to get themselves right back into this game. So to start things off here, once again, Revival already doing some good damage on the B site. 3 kills to none. A very messy attempt to just go for a 5-man push-out broken wall. boco finding one, but Undo catching the trade. Spots the location on the last player, but he is going to fall in the process. And BTN with the 2 kills now, looking for another one through the smoke, and he almost is going to be able to grab dOBRIY, but dOBRIY thankfully gets himself out of the spray pattern. And now it's just BTN looking to clutch this out in the 1-on-2. Bit of a tough situation for him to work with here, but again, he's paying patiently. Revival, a little bit impatient, to be honest. They're looking to find him. They need to confirm whether he's still here or not, because they don't have location on that bomb either. Now they know it's here, but they've got some players out in the open. Thankfully, dOBRIY is going to be able to find the headshot to close it out. And now we have Revival getting themselves onto the board. And for a lot of this, they have broken a lot of the members on neXtPlease. They brought them down below buying point. BTN, though, look at him. He's still sitting at 8.8k, so that could be two guns he's going to be able to buy. Even an extra Galil here coming out as well. Going to sacrifice his utility because of this, but again, donates and basically buys 3 out of 5 of the rifles for himself and the rest of his teammates. So this will leave RealCrown as the only player that actually doesn't get one this time around. He's going to have to go for the Tech 9 armor buy. A little bit limited on the utility side of things, so that's going to make this take a little bit rough. But again, they still have the guns in play, and they still have something to work with here. So it's not all done for these guys just as of yet. But ItsMy, man, he loves that platform. Again, we saw him working on the T side. Now he's working on the CT side as well. Jumps back up on top of there, finds a kill through the smoke, takes out RealCrown. Could see a little bit beyond this, and now he spots an additional player too. Pops out, but gives away his location, so BTN's going to be able to lock on and take him down. Eliminates him. And now we have the even trade as ItsMy again. That was another problem he had, is on the rounds that we did see neXtPlease taking on that CT side, it was often due to the fact that ItsMy got a little bit over-aggressive there, and the members of neXtPlease were able to take him down on that site. So there's Cosmin, though. He finds his way down in a drop here. A lot of damage has been done, but there's going to be KunKKa wrapping around the corner, finds another kill on the balblna to take him down. Now you've only got Undo on the site, and he's completely surrounded, but he's not only going to kill one, but he gets a second with that molly, too. Now it's on FANAT ROCKA. Has a mag 7. I didn't even cover this too, although Revival are winning. Their economy's fairly limited, so although he's going to dink boco down to just 1 HP, thankfully boco is going to be able to win that trade there, takes him down, and again, Revival are going to end up getting reset in this one. neXtPlease sitting at 9 rounds, getting a little bit closer, but Revival still slowly sort of creeping things away and maintaining that lead, but we do have another eco cycle for the members of Revival to go through here before they can get their big buy going. And for this one, don't expect too much to happen, guys. This should be an easy run of a round for the guys on neXtPlease, but they're going to take a risk on it from the Revival side of things. They go for a big stack on the B site. balblna is going to end up falling back to A because they don't spot an initial push here, but he could move over at a moment's notice, and if they're in good enough positions, they might just be able to try and stop this push from happening. And there we go. There's the boost. Undo catching the Wandig there. Going to be able to take down RealCrown. Back over there from the broken wall, but Cosmin, very patient, finds a trade now as the members of Revival get a little bit over-aggressive, and they try to look for too many frags this time, so now they're going to lose one. The unfortunate thing is they haven't actually gone for the upgrade on guns yet either. balblna sitting in here. The unsheathed USP. Gonna see if he can catch anybody, but neXtPlease have fallen back now. And they're going to rotate things back over to the A site. Undo's figured this out. He's moving in, but the rest of the team are still sticking here. They still have 3 players in this site. Revival even just sitting in chicken coop with another teammate right now, for some reason, with his knife out. And here they go. They're working into the site. Undo's going to get eliminated. And the rest are rotating in here right now. balblna still looking over there towards drop. I don't think they're coming drop, man. It might have been to flank, but don't think that's going to be likely now because you're on an eco. There wouldn't be too big of an emphasis on needing to do this now, so they're going to move in. Not a whole lot of hope in taking this one. Revival's ItsMy is actually going to find an AK, so I imagine he won't even be looking to move in. He's just going to try to save. He is in a peculiar spot to do this save, but more than likely, probably, actually with them, they're all moving directly towards him, so we might actually have a little bit of trouble saving this AK, because you have to remember, he doesn't have armor either. So they're going to sneak their way over towards him. And he's got to hope that he can sneak off some headshots here, basically. But I think neXtPlease are also a little bit cautious to even move out here towards the middle area anyway, so they're going to stay boxed in. They don't actually move outside of this, and they're just going to sit back And, yep, no other combat's gonna end up happening, unfortunately, so it's my will make it out of the round with the AK. That's a pretty big save, because now he's really not gonna have to invest all that much, or at least the player who gets that AK is not really gonna have to invest all that much, which in this case is gonna end up being dOBRIY. All he has to buy is armor, which he will go for right now. A little bit late on it, but I guess somebody came in his room and had to have a conversation with him or something, but a little bit late on it, but he does pick up the armor and all this sitting behind it, so he's the big utility man, but the rest of the team again here too, they were sort of teetering on the edge of their money buy, so they do have to limit themselves a little bit because they've chosen to go for these M4s, so relying pretty heavily on aim to clutch out this round. And neXtPlease once again getting very, very close to getting themselves back into this game, and there's balblna there. Gonna be moving himself back over into drop as he gets some more team support coming in. dOBRIY has traded places with him for the time being, and they've got one player sitting on A too, but they're a little bit more hesitant on this time. They do believe that this push is going to be coming in towards A. balblna's even there to support FANAT ROCKA if he goes down, but they're dropping in from broken wall now. It's a big 5-man push coming out from there. One's going to come a little bit delayed on drop, but so far the kills coming in for the CTs unrelentlessly, up to 3 kills. Cosmin does respond there and takes down Itzmai, and now that drop play comes in, nobody to defend it. Look at it, BTN just ripping him apart, finding 2 kills. FANAT ROCKA is able to get the response, and now it's just Cosmin. He's got to run, he's going to rush over towards that A site. And this is going to be pretty predictable from Revival's end of this as soon as they check drop to make sure he's not coming in from there. At the very least, they can move balblna to try and stop this from happening, but he's actually going to try to do the 1-2 switcheroo, and of course, they'll just leave FANAT ROCKA here to watch out for this exact thing. And what's even greater about this is Cosmin. He's going to go to drop thinking they're watching broken wall, but this is not the case. He's definitely sitting here. He's watching exactly for a push from drop. So FANAT ROCKA has read this. Oh no! He misses the shot. So Cosmin may have a chance at this yet, but he's only got 15 seconds. So this kill on a FANAT ROCKA has to be perfect here. The molly comes in. That's going to force him back out. Doesn't find the kill though. FANAT ROCKA just is like, oh, you want to challenge me? And then he shuts him down. So he takes him out. Now up to 14 points for the members of Revival. And now we see here, they're just going to be 2 more points away from closing things out. But again, the money for them has been a little bit rough on this CT side. Where on the T side, obviously, things were handled a lot better just because of how relentlessly they were winning out these rounds. It's kind of flipped itself around where neXtPlease sort of have this back into their favor once again here too, but that's a perfectly placed molly. Gonna rip these guys apart as they try to run through it, but he over-peaks it by a big margin there. Gets some good damage out, but no kills. The big thing he does get, however, is the intel. He has not confirmed the bomb, but with 3 players pushing in and going past his corpse, that should be enough of a solidification that, yeah, they're gonna be pushing in here, so you guys should rotate to try and stop this. And neXtPlease are gonna realize this a little bit too late, as they've already committed a lot of their players. They're still actually gonna keep 2 moving in, but they've moved 3 others back over here to try to push themselves into the B site once again to try to hold things here. And now it's gonna be KunKKa trying to find the entry then there for a drop. boco also found an entry to get himself onto the A site itself, but balblna holding them back for the time being. There's Itzmai once again finding 2 kills meanwhile on that A site to take some of these guys down. The bomb is sitting on the floor below the broken wall, so Cosmin's gonna have to try to move in to recover this, but he's surrounded. There's a smoke that comes into his face. Itzmai saw him just before that happened, finding that kill with just 1 HP, I should mention as well, and now it's all on boco. But remember, boco's been the big fragger for this team so far, and Itzmai is down to 1 HP, so it is going to be a little bit rough for these guys to actually take him down, especially considering that Undo's not... What?! Somehow that spray got him. I think he just peeked out. So boco's gonna find that kill. Like I said, 1 HP was like 1 bullet, but now that he's revealed himself, that's gonna be Undo there that catches him and takes him out of the play. So here we go. Revival up to 15 points now. Only 1 more needed to close things out. Like I've said before, the money situation is still in a pretty good spot for them. Or actually, I should probably just correct myself. The money situation is not in a good spot for these guys when you still look at the FAMAS sitting back over here on the FANAT ROCKA. Still on that P90 working with it, but it's even worse for neXtPlease now, just looking at these guys. They've still got the pistols in their hands, Deagle sitting on KunKKa specifically, and boco is the only player now that's been able to afford an AK, and again, that's a good thing too, because he's been doing the best work with it, but I imagine if it was going to be somebody else with it, it might have just gotten tossed over to him. Here's the stack though. dOBRIY sees this coming from a mile away. He's going to spot one, takes it down, destacks it, and now there's a bit of chaos going down to drop. Cosmin's going to find a response kill, but dOBRIY and Undo, they handle that again with the dual spray angle. They take down one. BTN popping back out though. He's going to be able to take out dOBRIY, so they might be able to find a way in, but they're down to 2, and BTN's surrounded. He's going to try to pop out, finds that kill. boco found 1 too, so now it's a 1-on-2. FANAT ROCKA again with the P90, going to try to close this out. He did mess up last round. Let's see if he's not going to do this again now, working his way back in, but no, boco just going to shut him out, and there we have it. Taking this round away, and they'll keep themselves in this game for the time being. 4 more away from tying things up and taking us into overtime. And for the guys on Revival, completely broken here, so they're going to have to go for a very, very light pistol by round. as we take a look at the strategy coming out here now for the members of neXtPlease. Again, just going to go straight forward with a B take. Nothing super duper out of the ordinary from these guys. Revival tried to take a risk on going for a 4-man stack back over towards A, but it doesn't pan out very well. BTN finds the kill over here on It's My. And now Revival are going to go probably for the save, to be honest here, when you look at their positions now. They've invested not only the pistols, but the armor behind this too. It was an attempt to just force it and close it out here on the pistol run, or the eco run, I should say, which was a little bit odd, to say the least, considering that they're still up by 4 rounds, and just saving 1 round probably could have thrown them into an additional gun round, but now they kind of have to sit back and are like, well, we can't get any damage done. And not only this, but boco is just picking them apart now in their attempts to get a little aggressive to look for these exits. boco just opened up a path, so nobody else is going to die. I don't think anybody at all is going to die, unless they try to move over towards the A site and look for some kills there, at which point they would get shut down. But at this point, it should be a pretty clean one for the members of neXtPlease. Undo, though, in a bit of a peculiar spot. Might be able to find some kills with that deagle. Misses the opportunity, and now it's to fall back inside, and now he's trapped. Gets one! Oh, that was mean. So he walks in, pulls out the knife, stabs him once, makes him pull out his knife to go into a bit of a duel, but then he pulls out the AK and finishes him off with the gun anyway. Alright, so that's a bit of an interesting way to end the round. So there's Revival now again. They're actually going to have to go for a double save because they've, technically a double save, but it's really only going to be 1 round being saved here now. As Revival now actually have nobody to work for this one, so they're going to be on basically just default pistols this time. A couple deagle upgrades coming in there, but this should be another just walkover round now for this one. ROCKA finding a couple BTN. We saw Undo picking up 1 kill, but again, it's just, yeah, it's nothing else is really going to happen there in this round. They just shut it back down, so that is going to be neXtPlease picking up a nice quick one here. But now we're into the gun round at this point. Revival are going to get themselves back into play here with the op, with the full rifles and everything. Semi-decent amount of utility when you look at balblna as well, but this is actually a very crucial one because, to be honest here, they're going to force it up. We can take a look in terms of buying up as much utility as they can possibly get going here. And now they're left with no money in excess. So even with that 4-round losing bonus, they are not going to have themselves enough money to buy up on that when we see neXtPlease hitting that 14th point. So this is basically means whether Revival are going to take this map or whether we're going to go into overtime right here, right now. As if, unfortunately, Revival do not pick this round up, they're not going to really have enough money, and in order to win the map, they would have to win an eco, which, again, we haven't really seen a whole lot of luck with their ecos just as of yet, so it would be a very, very hard round to win. But Revival go for an interesting stack here. balblna is going to put himself up on top of the wall to watch for a push outside of midcon. And now we'll see FANAT ROCKA falling back a little bit. There's a smoke in the B site, and they attracted that like flies, as we can see, moving themselves in, waiting for a push to come outside a drop, but it's only BTN that's here right now. The entire play is going to come over here towards that A site. If I were balblna, I would not shoot unless they look at me, because... Wait, why did they throw that molly? Oh, I guess it bait out of the left corner, but they've kind of held themselves back now. So they're going to move in, but balblna's going to open fire, drops down. He's going to look for the second kill, and he's going to grab it too. Shuts the bomb down. Now they no longer have bomb control in their play either. BTN steals his flank, open up. Keep this in mind as they move in. There's ROCKA and KunKKa finding 2 kills. They're going to jump back out. BTN finds this kill as well, so neXtPlease taking back control. ROCKA catches one with a nade, but now it's my the 1-on-2 as he's going to find an additional kill on a BTN, trying to work his way out of the main doors. This is suicide, but they look away, and now ROCKA down to 10 HP, but thankfully he doesn't spot him, and my is going to drop there. There's neXtPlease bringing themselves up to 14 points. And we are going to see these guys clutching out the round. They've got so much cash in excess, and for Revival, it's going to be everything they can afford to buy up here to try to close this out in this round. But we look at dOBRIY. He's got a mag 7, 2 deagles in play, a 5-7 on FANAT ROCKA, and this might just be overtime here. And for neXtPlease, the big push is once again going to be coming over towards that A site. Revival sitting patiently, waiting for these guys to work their way back in, but nothing's going to be coming in there through midcon, so that might cause a false positive, and again, that's indeed is what's going to happen here. balblna rotating over towards B, and this has been a big problem for that CT side. Even look at this push here coming out now from FANAT ROCKA 2. I'm not sure if he spotted this play coming out over here towards short A, but in just a second, he's going to know. So they know that there's players positioned back here. Revival are going to have to rotate into this, but that smoke was enough to push them back, so they're going to be held back with this a little bit. They don't want to test it so much. FANAT ROCKA is even going to get super aggressive, pushes through this, almost finds that kill on KunKKa, but KunKKa will indeed take him down. Still no spot on the bomb. My gets over and aggressive. He's going to lose some health. The mag 7, they're trying to do work with this, but there's nothing there. I don't even know what he's shooting at. All he's doing is giving away the fact that they have that gun. And now boco and the rest of the team, they're pushing up now. They're trying to get themselves onto this A site, as the CTs on the B site just fall one by one at the hands of BTN. But here's Radu. He's going to find one shot over here on the boco. Moving in, he gets a second one on a KunKKa, and there's another kill from another teammate. balblna finds BTN out, so they've turned this back around. Not only this, but Undu's got an AK to work with here too, and the timer's running low. Only 30 seconds left on the clock here. Cosmin moving himself back in. ROCKA as well. They're going to try to go for the B-take, but they're ready for this one now. We can see balblna's going to get himself in here. Very low HP, so he's the easy kill. Undu's rotating in, but dOBRIY as well. He still has that mag 7, and he might get this close duel. 15 seconds. They've got to get this plant going, but he's out, lighting up one of them. Here comes the AK now, as well as they work their way back in. dOBRIY can't find anything at that range with the mag 7. The plant's going to be coming down, but they can't hold back the push for the CTs. They're going to move in. ROCKA shutting down one, but in comes dOBRIY, picks up one, but thankfully Cosmin is going to be able to close it out, and this means we're going into overtime. 15-15. Both teams tied up, and here we go, folks. Locked up, both teams even, and this is interesting, too, because this is going to be Star Ladder's overtime rules, I believe. I don't know if it's different for this, because this technically is in Star Series, which is the thing I've been casting for the past, like, 2 to 3 weeks now, but it's still Star Ladder, so I don't know if they use the same rules. It's MR3, but it's going to have 16K starting money, which can get very, very interesting indeed. And we'll see in just a second if that's the case. And yup, they use it here as well. So it's 16K starting money here as well. So we saw this yesterday, or not yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago. Actually, no. Was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. In the G2 game versus... Who were they playing? It wasn't Orglis. I forget who they were playing. I think it was eFrag. Yeah, G2 versus eFrag. I think it was yesterday. Where G2 just went absolutely crazy on their CT side, and they bought like double autos, and it worked out great, along with an op. So there's some kind of kooky stuff that can happen here now with 16K starting money. So we'll see how this works out for these guys, but of course, both teams armed up to the teeth. It's my, again, dominating that platform area, finding the first kill. KunKKa finding the response to this one, though. And now the members of neXtPlease, there's a good pop from KunKKa. He not only finds It's My, but he catches Undu in the process of this one, too. dOBRIY has just a little corner. That smoke fades out at the perfect timing, so dOBRIY's going to be able to find him. The drop comes out from boco. He's trying to find that kill into balblna, but he's not going to grab it. But FANAT ROCKA, he's going to get flashed, too. He has to sit back behind this, and now the rest of these guys are going to push in. ROCKA finding this kill over onto dOBRIY. FANAT responds, but KunKKa also making some progress on getting onto the site. Very held back, but it's just going to be balblna stuck in this current position, can't really move away from this one. All they gotta do is pop out and find him, but ROCKA, with as low as he is, he can't really afford to do this, so he's gotta sit back. He spotted him, though. He saw him behind that rock. He knows he's here, but now balblna comes in. He's gonna make the hero player try to make it, and actually, where the hell is balblna going? He thinks it's been picked up, and they're running over towards the B site with it, but actually, this is... Ooh, now I see what he's doing. This is really creative, because this could work out great if he doesn't see this coming. But it could be rather obvious, too, is the thing. So it's all up to if ROCKA thinks he's actually going to do this right now. If you don't know what he's doing, he's obviously flanking him, which it should be pretty obvious at this point. But I think ROCKA is... No, he still thinks he's in the site somewhere. He still thinks he's here, so he's going to move in. His back's completely turned. This is it. Easy. Dead. He's done. Perfect play from balblna there. Completely wraps all the way around the map. Not saving, but... goes for the big flank and completely outplays his opponent in that situation. Did not think he was going to have the time to walk all the way around the map, but he did indeed have it. So there we go. That's going to be Revival picking up the first round here on their CT side, and that'll be a great start for them in the first overtime. It will be MR3, by the way. I believe I said that already, but just for verification purposes. And now, there we go now. These guys are going to start it off. The nades rolling in from the T's coming into this one. And now, again, they're just going to line themselves up to go for the B-take. 2 coming in from drop. 3 coming out by the broken wall plat. They're going to be held back, though, because the nades from the CTs, of course, still have to expire and whatnot. One from the CT was a little bit towards the side, and boco thinks it's on purpose. So he's scoped in there, you can see, to watch out, just in case they do the boost back over there. But... now balblna again is going to try to get a little bit creative and see if he can find anything in mid-con. While he won't, of course, find anything initially, you can see that neXtPlease are starting to fall back a little bit. And in a moment here, if he stays long enough, he might find a kill or two. But for neXtPlease, they've actually, specifically boco, has fallen back really far just to try and watch out there towards the short A entry point. But now they're going to work their way in here in a second, and this should be an easy kill for balblna to grab. I think ROCKA is expecting somebody to be in the suicide step, so you can see he's being very cautious about entering into here. The flash even comes in too, but actually I could be wrong. I don't know if they're ready for these guys. He's going to get smoked off though, and he goes for the blind fire. It's getting returned back onto him, so he's dropped to 16 HP, but he did some damage over there onto ROCKA too, and this did verify that there were players here. They don't know if they've gone through with it or not, which they haven't. They've fallen back. They're going back over towards the B site now to make the take into here instead. So now with 25 seconds left on the clock, they've got to start this off now. And in they come, drop. BTN finds his opening kill into Undo to take him down. Another one's going to be scored over here. Takes out It's My. dOBRIY gets a response to this, but so far it's neXtPlease just shutting it down. They found 3 kills to 1. balblna's going to try to work his way back in, but FANAT ROCKA actually as well here going to just get completely shut down by BTN. And now it's just balblna here. He's stuck out in the open. There's nowhere for him to run. He's got to try to save this, but no, tries to go in to at the very least find that kill into BTN, but that's not going to be the case. neXtPlease, apologies. neXtPlease respond, and they're going to tie things up at 16-16. So no clear winner really going to come out here in the first half of it. Not going to give anybody a super huge advantage. The best thing we're going to see is a 2-round uppage by either team, whichever one manages to take this one. And we'll see the double up setup coming out from Revival too now because they know they can afford it with this being the last round. So just going to be straightforward here once again from the side of neXtPlease to work their way over here onto the site. Great shot from boco. Obviously the H-Sheet getting in the way of it just a little bit, but they're still able to find that player silhouette there and take him down. KunKKa finding another one over here onto Undo as well. So just a straightforward, and this is the crazy thing too, is the simplest things sometimes work the best, as we can see here. dOBRIY has gotten one response to this, but so far it's just been neXtPlease just working their way into the site once more. All sorts of nades coming onto balblna, but they haven't seen him. balblna's sneaking his way in. He's going to find one. Thankfully, Cosmin is there for the trade. boco misses his trade, but now FANAT ROCKA coming back in. This is plausible for him to clutch this in a 1-on-2 situation, but he's going to be held back because of these pop flashes coming out, and obviously, again, this does give time for them to get into post plants. Another one right in his face. Tries to take the shot over here on the Cosmin, but not going to be able to connect it. And neXtPlease are not really going to be too inclined to take the risk on taking him down. So FANAT ROCKA will have to make an absolutely beast play to do this. That's a great nade that comes into Cosmin to bring him down low. FANAT ROCKA actually finishes this off. Now going to put the smoke down, just going to stick the defuse potentially, comes off of it, and now looking for the flank, slowly wrapping his way back around. Sees him, takes him down low, but now he's got to stick it, and he's moving in. Realkron, can you get the spray, buddy? Can you get it? No! He's not going to find it, and FANAT ROCKA gets the smoke defuse. He's going to take it, and Revival will hold the advantage coming out of the first half of overtime. And of course, back and forth, back and forth. A great take from neXtPlease, but the clutch is a little bit too strong there from the side of Revival. And they are going to indeed be able to hold the advantage. Magic number will be 19, so Revival are going to need to pull off a 2-1 again, or just pull off the 2 victories here, coming into the second half of things on their own T side. But for neXtPlease as well, if they can pull off an absolutely perfect CT side, we saw how strong it was at the beginning of it. If we can go back to that, and they can hold their ground to pick up 3 rounds in a row, they as well could close things out in overtime 1. But if it trades itself back evenly and neXtPlease go 2-1, it's on to overtime number 2 for us, folks, and map number 1 here between neXtPlease and Revival here at the Starlighter Star. Actually, not Star Series, Pro Series. Apologies. So Revival, once again, now on the offense this time. Very much more spread out than the members of neXtPlease, as you can see from their positions all over the map. They're careful of a potential push that would come in from the CTs over towards the short A, but it's somewhat ironic because neither team has really done anything like this so far in the entire map. They haven't really been looking out for anything such as this. boco gets a great shot, boosted up on top, but dOBRIY with the smallest, tiny little slit to look through there, ends up catching boco on the trade, is going to be able to take him down. So that leaves it into a 4-on-4 for the time being. The rest of Next moving themselves into a position to counter for this B push, and this is going to be a waterfall from drop if they go through with this. dOBRIY, Undo, and one other player, I believe it's balblna, all sitting here ready to go for this, but dOBRIY's going to end up calling this off to move over here, but all that damage being done by Cosmin as well. He's happy with that. Takes balblna down to 12. dOBRIY sitting at 18, so yeah, they're going to have to pull back on this a little bit here, give them some more time, and the timer will continue to tick down here too. But BTN, he's kind of tired of waiting in the shed, so he's going to push forward. That's going to be a mistake because now FANAT ROCKA finds that kill, and they're actually going to rotate everybody because that B take is just not really panning out for these guys. They're actually going to rotate it back over here towards that A site to go for the take over here instead. Excuse me, and it's a good thing too, because we do see those rotations. They're coming in a little bit early, but so far it's just Realkron here to support this. He's got the op, but he's stuck in that corner, so it's not like he can do all that much from that current position. Gonna pop out, finds one, but that nade lands right in his face there. I don't think it's gonna do all that much damage as Undo takes him down anyway, but you're just down to Cosmin now over here on the balcony. He can't even find that single kill. He's gotta fall back, and FANAT ROCKA gets the mid-air kill to take him down. And Revival, they're not gonna be sitting on match point here, just one more away from closing it out. And of course, for the members of neXtPlease, they'll go for their rebuy as well. This is one of the good things about the 16K starting money is despite this fact, we still are going to be able to see the team continue to buy up through these rounds time after time after time again. So neXtPlease know that this is the edge. They're going to be able to go for this very aggressive buy up with the double op setup once again. Now, Realkron is pushing his money a little bit here. He may end up running out of cash. Same story for What is this? Same story for boco, actually, I believe there too, as he's sitting at 3.4. So with these guys stretching it out a little bit here, if they drop and they can't recover these guns, then that's going to be a bad situation for them. But again, obviously, Revival sitting on the 18th point, all this is not really going to matter anyway, because if Revival pick this up, it's donezo, and they're going to take map number 1. So the nades will be coming in. neXtPlease trying to hold things back off over here once again. And balblna will be the one to jump in for his team. Back over here through drop. Not committing to anything just as of yet, because you still have that play coming in through mid-con as well. Really just trying to make as much noise as humanly possible. Look at the push from BTN too. He's way up here. If he can spot this coming, that's definitely going to reveal their intentions. They're down to 4, but dOBRIY, great shot from him. Actually going to take down BTN just as the smoke is fading away. So these guys are going to be able to keep themselves in the lead for the time being. And neXtPlease, very, very little intel besides their, with the exception of their teammate going down and them spotting those 2 players there. They still don't know if it's been committed, because there's been time and time again where this exact situation that's happening now has unfolded over and over again. So there's too much doubt to whether this is going to go over towards the A side or not. They should be able to read this and at least keep one floater, but you still have the number 3 player, which is KunKKa, and he's now gone down to dOBRIY, committed to that site. And look at this Revival. They're just going to walk in. They close it out. This might end up being the match here at this point. There you have it. dOBRIY finds the final kill too, and it's going to be 19-16 in the favor of Revival here in map number 1 of this set. They'll take it up 1-0. They'll take map number 1. Next is Choice as well. They'll take it away from them, and that will indeed close out our first map, guys. The second one should be coming up here in just a few minutes. It's going to be over on Mirage, so stick around for it, and we'll be right back with map number 2 here between our 2 teams here at the Star Ladder Pro Series.